Welcome to Digital Academy. Today we're gonna talk about a new lesson, how to create a glass and the lights. I will start this one by creating a polygon cube from polygon shelf menu and apply some scaling by pressing R on keyboard to get the shortcut for scaling tool. Scale it from one side by the handle or uniform scaling from the middle. I will then create a polycylinder. Then I will rotate it by pressing E on keyboard and hitting 90 degrees from the channel box to make a precise rotation of 90 degrees. You can also scale it uniformly in the middle from the middle handle of the scaling tool or scaling by a single handle. I will move it to the sides by moving tool pressing W on keyboard. I just make sure that I have scaled it to the point rightly. I navigate around by pressing Alt on keyboard and navigate by left mouse click or panning side to side. Then I will head into polycylinder subdivision menu to decrease the subdivision caps to be 1. Then I make a duplication by Shift and D. Then I will move it to the side. When I satisfied with the motion, I press Shift and D again to make a same copy with the motion. If you want to duplicate with the motion, just press Shift and D while duplication. Then I select them as a group and heading to frame mode by pressing 4 on keyboard to get wireframe mode to see the position and the skeleton of the object that I've combined. Then I holding Shift to make sure that I navigate to the combine tool to combine them as a single unit. Then I select the large object, then I select the second object, then hidden booleans that I need to subtract the second object from the first one. Then after pressing delete by type history, you can see the effect of booleans that I subtracted the first object from the second one. This tool here allow you ambient, it's like shading mode, allow you to differentiate subcomponent. Then I will assign a new material. Let's say I will heading Lambert. Then I heading to attribute editor to change the color. You can see the effect that I had applied the subtraction, the subcomponent that I removed from the large one. For this one I will also select it. I frame it by pressing F on keyboard. Then I select the subcomponent face mode. Then I will hit extrude by pressing Ctrl and E. I will change the offset while holding Ctrl on keyboard. You can drag it by left mouse click, move it from the handle, or you can apply a change in thickness from the extrude menu, or you can just move the handle. I will apply another extrude by pressing Ctrl and E. Apply another offset modification, move it by the handle. You can apply another offset, another extrude by pressing Ctrl and E again. Then I will move it in the depths. You can pan side to side by holding Alt on keyboard and middle mouse click. Then I will select object mode, navigate around to see the effects that I have applied. You can navigate around by holding Alt and right mouse click, or you can use scrolling by mouse. I will also assign a new material and change the color for this part of the lamp. You can name it and apply different name. Just double click on the name menu and you type in the name of the lights that you will apply. Let's say light green. Then you can navigate around to see the different effect, and I will create a new polycylinder. I rotate it by pressing E on keyboard to hit the rotation tool. I navigate to the channel box to apply a precise rotation of 90 degrees. Then I apply some scaling by using scaling tool. Let's say I want to scale it uniformly, so I need to scale it from the middle and a single handle that I want to scale it in a one direction. I just need to make sure that the lamp is the normal size. When you're satisfied with the size, then you apply modification by moving to press W on keyboard. and you can change from different tools, selection, movement, rotation, and scale by shortcuts on keyboard Q, W, E, and R. Navigate around by holding Alt on keyboard. Then you change to different views by pressing spacebar on keyboard. I heading to the top view. Make sure that I made it precisely at the location that I want to set the lamp. I move it slightly by the mouse. You can head into wireframe mode by pressing 4, or you can return to the shade mode by pressing 5 to make sure that you made it precisely at the right location. Like I made a copy by pressing Ctrl and D, or just drag it while holding Shift on keyboard. I return to the perspective view by pressing spacebar and hover over with the mouse over the perspective view and pressing spacebar again. Then I will create a poly cylinder, another one from polygon shelf menu. Then I will scale it down a little by the single handle, the top handle of the scaling tool. You can apply rotation by pressing E on keyboard and heading also to the channel box. Make sure that it's precisely 90 degrees of rotation. Pressing F on keyboard to the frame around the object in the middle of the scene. Heading to subcomponent face mode. Then I drag with the mouse to select them. You can delete them by backspace or pressing delete on keyboard. After deleting half of the faces, I select object to move it as a single unit. And you can heading to the face subcomponent mode and select and apply different modification. For this one, I will select edge mode and select multiple edges by holding shift on keyboard. You can see the positive or negative value over the mouse. When it's negative, it deselects. When it's positive, it select a group and multiple edges. Then holding shift or right mouse click and you hitting fill the hole, or you can hit bridge to close the missing face. Then you select the face that you want to apply modification and you move it down, or you can hit extrude. Just select a single face and you can move it by moving it or pressing W on keyboard, or you can hit extrude by pressing Ctrl and E. Then you apply some thickness or move it from the handle. For this one, I will move the thickness from the extrude menu, and then I will head to the object mode to be able to move it as a single unit. Then hitting to moving tool by pressing W on keyboard. Just scale it a little by pressing R to hit scaling tool. You can scale it from one handle or uniformly from the middle. Then I just move it at this point precisely. Press F to frame inside the scene. Then I will move it to the side. Make sure a precise location by heading to the top view and pressing F to frame around the object. Move it precisely and return back to perspective view by pressing the space bar on keyboard. You can navigate around. Make sure it precisely location by navigating to different scene, let's say side view for this one, pressing F to frame around the object, scale it down, and remember you can heading to the frame mode by pressing number 4 on keyboard to see the skeleton of the object that you moved. With this one I'll move it to the back end of this object. I made it precisely at the side view. Make sure of the location by heading to the top view. Just scale it slightly by scaling tool. I will decrease its thickness a little. You can apply your own modifications. This lesson is just for demonstration how to create by using simple shapes, how to navigate around, how to frame around the object by pressing F on keyboard. You can just model any object that you want to apply and then create a duplication by pressing Ctrl and D. I frame around the object by pressing F on keyboard to frame the object at the middle of the scene. Then move it slightly at this point. Navigate around by pressing Alt and left mouse clicking. You can see the effect and the modeling that you've created. You can apply your own fine details and subcomponent modes. You can move it up and create a new polygon cube. Then I will move it up. Let's say at this point I frame around the object by pressing F on keyboard. Let's scale it down a little. Then I will move it to the side. Frame around the object by pressing F on keyboard. Then I will move it slightly at the side. And I will need to make a copy after polymodeling and make a precise location for this one. Just I select it and apply beveling by pressing Ctrl and B on keyboard to make a slight realistic effect of, let's say, it need to be smooth. Increase the fraction, increase the smoothness, and you also can increase the thickness and increase the segments, and you can apply a central pivot and duplicate it by pressing Ctrl and D on keyboard. Then I move it down slightly to make a same copy. You can both select them by holding Shift on keyboard and pressing Ctrl and D to make a copy, and rather than moving, you can just heading to the translate X or Y and hit negative value. Just if you want to move the copy the same motion but in a negative direction, so you can see after I just type in the negative value, you can see it transferred according to the translate X, and I need to translate it in a different dimension. So I head into translate Z and pressing negative on a keyboard. You can see it translated precisely at the opposite direction at the opposite aim. That any object that you've created, it will be created at the center of the scene at the 0 point. So any motion that you've applied, let's say the value of 8 degrees, it in a positive value. If you want to move it at the opposite direction, just type in the negative value. Then you select both of them and then apply combine. Then you can navigate these tools by holding Shift while right mouse click. Then you navigate to the subcomponent tools like combine, separate, and booleans. For this one, I've created the sub details of the projections of the lamp. And if you want to make a duplication for the object, just you can select them and duplicate it by pressing Ctrl and D. Just you can apply some scaling to decrease or increase its size by hitting scaling tool, pressing R on keyboard. You can navigate around to make sure it's precisely located. Then you right click and assign a new material. It will be found at the last menu, just scrolling by the mouse and heading to the last shelf. Then you can change the color according to the need. For this one, I will change it to this color. You can assign a new material also for this part of the object, or you can assign an existing one. Existing material, any material that you've applied, you can name it to be able to differentiate it from other materials, and you can navigate around to give it the color, the value. You can select it and delete it and make a copy. For this one, it's precisely located. Move the copy by pressing W on keyboard to head into moving tool. Can navigate around, make sure the precise location. You can find it the same object on the outliner on the left side. You can select both object by holding Shift on keyboard, then right click on the object and assign a new material, or you can choose existing one if you've already created. I will head to Arnold for this one and change to AI standard surface. For this one, I will change to preset. I needed to make a glass. Then I will head into this one. I will make it plastic for this part, and for the lamp I will make it a glass. I can change the color, the menu, the presets according to the need. Navigate around I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next lesson.